You need to check this out this morning. Take a look at the dramatic security footage that shows the moment a 2-year-old girl was caught as she fell from an apartment window. There it is. It happened in Turkey last Thursday. A 17-year-old boy was watching the girl who was near the window, then positioned himself underneath just before she hit the ground. Amazingly, the toddler was not hurt.
Right place, right time.
I guess.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for waking up with us on this Thursday morning. I'm Jordan Schreier here with Lisa Bedeau, and we're just getting started with your news and weather to the top of the hour to help you plan for your day. New this morning, the North Dakota Highway Patrol is investigating a bus crash in a construction zone south of Fargo overnight. It was called in just before midnight and happened near the Kindred exit on I-29.
KFGO News is reporting that the bus with 30 people on board was headed back to Fargo from the casino in Hankinson when it hit construction barrels. 2 people suffered minor injuries, and then just after that crash, 2 other cars crashed when they hit debris from the first accident. Luckily, no one was hurt. Firefighters are warning people about going onto the Cheyenne River after a scary ordeal in West Fargo this week. High water and strong currents tipped a boat onto its side on Tuesday, dumping 2 fishermen into the water.
One of the men ended up being pulled through a narrow culvert. Firefighters say the guys are lucky they weren't hurt and that the ordeal is a good reminder to not only have life jackets in the boat, but to actually wear them.
7 minutes before 7, let's get a check of our storm team forecast as we have some stormy weather to talk about.
Yeah, it's moving into the FM metro area right now. We're looking down to the south, southeast. You can see on the right of the screen one little raindrop that's already moved into here, the station in South Fargo. But you can see where the rain is. It's that diffuse area of gray, a little lightning flash there too that's coming down. We call that a rain foot. You can kind of see it coming out and spreading as it gets closer to the surface here. So some heavy rain and downpours already moving into the southern end of the metro. And as we look a little bit farther to the south and west, there's our tower cam there that our camera's mounted on. You can see the lightning that's hitting us here as we're looking at that moving through. So I-94 already wet on the road surface, and this is going to continue to spread to the east here this morning as we continue through the morning hours. So intense rain and winds and lightning and some hail, small hail possible with this one. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect earlier this morning for Richland County and southern parts of Cass. That is now expired at 6:45. It's now 6:53, and we're watching this move in. The intensity of these storms has gone down just slightly, so that's why that warning was allowed to expire, but they're still strong and they're still going to have some big impacts on your commute, including for Fargo, but also as we look down I-94 into Minnesota, this is heading into that corridor right now and has been impacting I-29 along Fargo and south from there. So some lightning, some heavy downpours with these again, and the southern end of the metro getting hit at the moment, and this is already pushing into places like North Fargo and Moorhead at this point in time. Cross section of the storm showing these areas of rain and even some hail. Some of these cores here in pink and darker red indicating where the hail core happens to be. This is up there. We're looking at that rain all the way up to the 20,000 foot mark, and the cloud cover, of course, higher than that as well. So hail size estimates, anywhere you see these gray areas, that's where the radar is detecting a little bit of hail. If we were to see some blue on the map, which we've been seeing since earlier this morning, that would indicate about 1 inch in diameter hail. So not everybody quite seeing that at this point in time, but still there's some small hail. We're looking at just west of or south of Wahpeton Breckenridge, hail that's more than 1/2 inch in diameter. So checking out that rain right now moving into the Fargo Moorhead area. It's basically over the Fargo West Fargo region over toward Moorhead, moving in right now, especially on the north end of town. South end has already been seeing it. And then there are more areas with thunderstorms. Northern parts of Cass County, back into Barnes, moving now into parts of Griggs County, moving up toward Cooperstown at the moment. Stutsman County, you've been seeing some storms for some time, and this stretches up toward Carrington too. So overall, we get a bigger picture of this system. It's been moving east through the morning. There's been a little bit of a northern component to it too. So Highway 2 south from there, that's where we're likely to see rain. The severe storms more likely closer to that South Dakota state line and then back into the east into Lakes Country. And this is coming for you in Lakes Country. If you're in Fergus Falls, definitely make sure you're weather aware. If you have to head into work now, make sure you've got that Valley News Live weather app downloaded. So once you get there, you can check on the radar and get any alerts that are issued here. So some temperatures into the 50s, 60s, even 70 in Fargo as these storms are moving through. And here's a quick look at your hour by hour planner. These are going to roll eastward by 3 o'clock. Still some isolated areas of rain and thunder possible. So an unsettled day. And of course, we'll be keeping you updated throughout the morning.
And we can hear the rain on the
Yes.
rooftop now.
Just
I can
kicked in.
smell the rain a little bit too, even inside. Thank you, Lisa. The Becker County Sheriff's Department has released the name of the man who was killed this week in a hit-and-run crash. He was 27-year-old Michael Tibbetts of Ogama, Minnesota. The crash happened Monday night around 7 near County Road 158 in Maple Grove Township on the east side of White Earth Lake.
Tibbetts was flown to a Fargo hospital but died the next day. The driver of the car was gone when deputies got to the crash scene. They're now looking for a 1999 Mercury Marquis. Anyone with information on this incident is urged to call the Becker County Sheriff's Office, the White Earth Police Department, or the local law enforcement. The Catholic Diocese of Fargo says a priest is suspended after a woman claims she was inappropriately touched by the Reverend Jack Haran at St. Anthony's Church in the 1970s.
The diocese says he was retired and serving as a hospital chaplain outside the diocese when the allegations were reported. He's not being allowed to carry out his work as a priest pending the outcome of the investigation. The man police were looking for in connection to a missing baby from Bismarck is now in the Burleigh County Jail. 31-year-old Cole Pfaff was arrested on 3 warrants that are not connected to the disappearance of Leah Mae Morset on Monday.
Bismarck police say they got a tip late Tuesday night that Pfaff was sleeping in a camper in a backyard of a home in Bismarck. He was arrested for unpaid child support and 2 failure to pay fines warrants. Police also say Pfaff was questioned about Morset, who was dropped off at a Bismarck hospital Tuesday afternoon, about 39 hours after she was last seen with her mother, but there is no word on what came of that interview. Watch out for some funny money floating around the Fargo-Moorhead area, especially if you're running a yard sale. Fargo police say there have been a number of counterfeit bills reported in recent days. And here's what to look for. Fake money has an odd texture and ink that's able to smudge. You can also buy a counterfeit detector pen in office supply stores, and the ink will turn dark if the bill is fake.
Nothing says the 4th of July like getting together for a family fireworks show, but make sure you're doing it the safe way. The West Fargo Fire Department says it's important to wait at least a day before throwing away used fireworks. And they suggest even hosing them down to make sure they won't start a fire. And this reminder, fireworks are only allowed within West Fargo city limits from 8 a.m. to midnight on the 4th of July. And fireworks are not allowed in many cities, including Fargo, Grand Forks, and the entire state of Minnesota.
Let's get the answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. 41% of Americans now have one of these household devices.
The answer, a Keurig. I do. You do. Our percentage.
I do not have
You do
one.
not?
No.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I like to make the whole pot of coffee in the morning.
That's true. You do. Remember, you can play along every weekday morning by heading to our Valley News Live Facebook page.
And for a lot of folks, I'm sure they don't need the coffee to wake up this morning. We had those storms that rolled through. Lisa?
Yeah, we're looking at the rain really coming down here this morning. Right now in Fargo-Moorhead, there's lightning, heavy downpours obscuring your view. I'm glad we see all those headlights on and cars that are traveling right now. If you can stay put and avoid this thunderstorm, it'll move through in the next half hour or so, and we'll quiet things down a little bit in FM. But there are storms everywhere. We'll be keeping you posted throughout the morning.